You know, in our digital lives, we're constantly creating things. Countless files, messages, emails, photos, you name it. But have you ever really stopped to think about what happens to all those important instructions, or maybe even some final messages, when you're no longer around to manage them?
Right, let's just dive straight into that. What happens to your final instructions when you're not there to actually give them? Who makes sure they get opened by the right person, and just as importantly, at the right time? It's a tricky problem most of us just don't think about until it's way too late.
And that kind of gets to the heart of the issue with how we handle things now. Our most important digital instructions are all over the place, scattered across different phones, laptops, and apps. They can just vanish when platforms we use every day change or when our accounts expire. And here's a big one. They can be opened way too early by pretty much anyone who gets access. Without you there to explain, they can completely lack context, which can lead to some really serious misunderstandings.
So what's the solution here? Is there a better way to handle this massive gap in our digital planning? Well, that's what we're digging into today. Let's take a look at a system that's designed to be a guardian of your intent. It's called redNote.
Okay, so what exactly is redNote? Well, at its core, it's a secure, condition-based encryption platform. What that means is you can lock up your files and messages so they can only be unlocked by the specific people you choose and only when the exact conditions you set have been met. It's kind of like a digital safe that has a really smart, automated lock on it. And here's what's really interesting. The source material puts it this way, and I think this quote just nails it. It acts as a guardian of intentional communication, evaluating conditions and enforcing access even if the creator cannot be there to decide. So you see, this isn't just about keeping things secure. It's about making sure your intent is what gets respected, even when you're not in the picture. Now, I know this might sound a little complex, but the whole process is actually designed to be super straightforward and, most importantly, really secure. So let's just walk through how it works.
It's really just a simple four-step process. First, you create your message or grab your files, and bam, they're encrypted right there in your browser. Second, you set the rules. You define the conditions, like who can unlock it and when, maybe on a specific date or after a certain event is verified. Third, you share this sealed file with the person you want. You can email it, put it on a USB drive, whatever you want. And finally, when the time is right, redNote automatically checks your rules and either gives the green light or denies access, all on your behalf.
And when you put it side by side like this, the difference is just crystal clear. With normal file sharing, anybody who gets their hands on the file can try to open it, right? But with redNote, only the person you designated can even try to unlock it. And even then, access is totally locked down until your conditions are met. So the real game changer here is that redNote enforces your intent automatically. It's not just relying on trust anymore.
Okay, but how can you trust it? This is obviously a huge deal. Well, redNote is built on what's called a zero-knowledge principle. That means they cannot see, read, or access your content, period. All the encryption happens right in your browser, so your files are never decrypted on their servers. And get this, you store your own sealed files, so they don't even keep copies. The whole unlocking process is completely automated, absolutely no human intervention. Your privacy is baked into the technology itself. It's not just a policy.
All right, so we get the what and the how, but where does this actually fit into real life? Let's talk about some scenarios where you might need this the most. For parents, wow, this is incredibly powerful. You can leave messages of love, life advice, or super important documents like wills and insurance info for your kids, but you get to control when they get it, making sure they receive everything only when they're old enough to understand it or when the time is truly right, exactly like you planned.
Or think about people in high-risk jobs. We're talking first responders, journalists in conflict zones, military personnel. For them, redNote offers some serious peace of mind. They know that in a worst-case scenario, their final messages and critical instructions are guaranteed to reach their loved ones safely.
And it's not just personal. This is a vital tool for business owners, too. You can protect your entire business with a solid continuity plan. You can make sure critical information, login credentials, or handover instructions are transferred securely and only when absolutely necessary. It's about safeguarding your company's future.
But really, at the end of the day, this is for anyone who is, life conscious. The truth is that life is fragile. Planning ahead means you can leave truly meaningful messages for the people who matter most, making sure your final wishes are heard and understood, with zero ambiguity.
So all of this brings us to the biggest question of all. Why does this really matter? Let's talk for a second about the real cost of having an unclear intent.
Because here's the absolute bottom line, the most important takeaway. redNote protects your intent, not just your information.
See, anyone can encrypt a file. That's easy. But making sure that file is opened at the right time, by the right person, for the right reason, that's about preserving your will, your purpose, your intent. So what do you really lose if you don't have a system like this? Well, you lose control over when your information gets out. You lose the certainty that your instructions will actually be followed. You lose the chance for your final wishes to be truly respected. And maybe most importantly, you and your loved ones can lose that crucial peace of mind. And that right there is the ultimate benefit. This isn't just about software. It's about giving you the confidence that your intentions will be respected, down to the letter, exactly as you planned it. It bridges that scary gap between what you want to happen and what actually happens when you're not there to make sure it does.
So we'll leave you with this one question to think about. If you couldn't be there to explain yourself, would your intentions be understood? Would your final words actually reach the right person at exactly the right moment? It's a heavy question, but it's definitely one worth considering.